So the BCS proposes a similar model, what we call as business analysis process model. And then it actually drives the whole thing with respect to this. I think we did talk about it during the definition, the first session, about definition of business analysis. So it has got 6 different stages: the investigate situation, which is the discovery phase; consideration of perspectives, the stakeholders; analysis of needs, again coming in from the point of view of opportunities, doing different tools and techniques; and then evaluation, again coming up with a business case; finally define requirements, defined, or you can say specify, communicate, all of these, you know, in the form of user stories or whatever. And then finally you deliver the change. So irrespective of these different things, you've got to understand that each of these has got their own aspect. So again, you investigate situation is basically about the starting of your discovery phase. We talked about it yesterday. You're identifying, unearthing the problems, unearthing all the potential issues with that. So examples could be, Uzma was talking about the document analysis yesterday, looking at the document that you already have, the setup manual, the user guides, looking at that and then conduct investigation, look at it in detail, look at the feedback, look at the questions that people are kind of asking from the, what are the defects that are coming up, conduct interviews, workshops with the senior stakeholders. You could actually have a survey, you can send out a survey, or sometimes nowadays you've got web surveys, WebMonkey kind of a survey. In the middle of your task, they'll ask, how are you finding this? Do you have any questions? Are you happy with this? So all of these are different ways of extracting or getting the right information from the right stakeholders. And then consideration of perspectives, again, is you're looking at it from the point of view of stakeholders. Again, we were talking about the business stakeholders, technology. Each of them has got different perspectives, different ways of looking at things, their worldview. So we'll come to understand that in greater detail when we do the consideration perspectives. So we create something called a stakeholder wheel. We'll talk about this next week. It's a technique called stakeholder wheel to identify the different aspects of a stakeholders. And then we also need to do the BAM, business activity modeling, which is to identify the tasks, where the task is actually failing, what is the flow, do we have any kind of breakages in the scenarios? We'll need to address each of them in detail. And then look at the analysis of the need. So basically we need to understand the as-is situation. So if you have a current situation, current platform, current tool, look at it, understand what are the shortcomings, what is the problem with the existing solution or the situation. And then you try and define the to be, the newly proposed solution, how differently that should be, how performant, what is the performance level, what should the functionality, how different should be the functionality, how different should the user interface be, the look and feel of it, the navigation, all of that in detail. So you try and come up with the gap analysis between the as is to the to be. So between the current situation and what you're trying to propose to create newly. And then you evaluate the options. So once you have got that definition of to be, then you come up with different options. So it could be based on different technology platforms, based on different tools, different ways of working. And then we would do the different evaluation of all these different things. I was talking about the example yesterday of the project that I was involved in. So that's where it's the cloud platform evaluation. So we were doing the data science self-service platform for this particular one of the leading banks. And I was working to help them understand and evaluate the 3 major vendors, platform service providers, GCP, AWS, and Azure. So we evaluated the options, the toolkit, the solution in detail, and then we came up with the best recommendation. And then we come up with a kind of a business case, why we should go for that with respect to the cost, the technology, the project, everything. And then we need to define the requirements. That's where the the detailing really comes in picture. So you can create a backlog, you can create user stories, you can add more and more detail into it, make it more granular. You can actually create the acceptance criteria, add the given when then scenarios. You can create wireframes to support your thing, how it should look like for the developers. So all of these are basically part of the definition of requirements. So you would then, Uzma was talking about the traceability matrix yesterday. So you can create a traceability matrix right from the requirements all the way down through the test cases and the test reports. So requirements, how the requirement is captured in the architecture document, the high-level design document, the low-level design document, the code, which code block is responsible for that. And then finally, the unit test reports and the integration module tests, and finally the integration test reports. So all of these, this whole thing is basically if there's any problem, you can actually go trace it back to the problem, to the root of where it happened, and you can sort it out. So the traceability again would help. And then finally, it's all about delivering the change and working with the people, deploying the solution, delivering it finally, and then being able to actually assess the benefits coming out of it. And that's where we as BAs have got a bigger role than just working on it and then moving on. So we understand how it has been performing, what is the satisfaction levels of the customers and things like that. And then we create the PIR, the post-implementation review. We identify the benefits that are accrued, whether it is through monetary means, whether it has been through increasing the satisfaction or not. Has it contributed to the objective of the project that it was originally intended, whether it cut the cost or not? How successful was the solution in driving this change? So that's what we try and do. So again, we have got different tools like BDN, Benefit Dependency Network, which we're going to discuss next.